Hey all you rizzlers. You remember those memes a couple years back about how only the most outrageous things happen in Ohio?
My dick put my swag on 100 down in Ohio. Swag like a...
Well, I still think they're pretty funny, and if they're not, let me be struck down by the entire state. Ohio is one of those Midwestern U.S. states that's bordered by Pennsylvania, Michigan, Indiana, Kentucky, and West Virginia. All in all, these states either look like this or this.
What kind of place is this?
Except for this part, but that's for another video. It's got 3 decently large cities. Cleveland, which claims rock and roll and LeBron, even though he was technically born in Akron, but it's close enough. Cincinnati, which is famous for their skyline chili, and Columbus, which is the largest city and capital. Ohio claims to be the birthplace of aviation. It is where the Wright brothers were born, except North Carolina is where the first flight took place. It's even on both their license plates, so they're both partially right. Another thing about Ohio, according to the president, you better make sure to leave your pets at the border.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Yes, he was talking about Springfield, Ohio in that clip. And finally, of course, the boxer Jake Paul and the food entrepreneur Logan Paul himself were born here.
Stand ready for my arrival, worm.
Ohio's weather has got to be a mix of the worst of everything. One day it'll be 90 to 100 degrees outside, and the next there'll be a full-on tornado outbreak. Up near Lake Erie during the winter, there is the constant threat of something called lake effect snow, which can cause multiple feet of snow to fall in quick succession. To simply put it, the weather sucks. You got 4 seasons, a frozen wasteland, severe weather, hell, and one singular good season. The city of Toledo in Ohio was very important at the time, and it sat right on the Maumee Bay. When Michigan, its northern neighbor, was becoming a state, they wanted Toledo and ended up having a military standoff with Ohio. There was only really one battle, but I'd hardly even call it a battle, and it occurred by the children of a Benjamin Stickney. The children's names were actually, get this, 1 and 2. Like, their legal names were 1 and 2. One had been arrested by a Michigan state sheriff for promoting Toledo going to Ohio, and this made 2 so mad that he actually attacked the sheriff with a penknife and then fled to Ohio. That's literally all that happened for this entire war. That's as bad as it got. At the time, President Andrew Jackson wanted to keep all the electoral votes Ohio provided, and he forced Michigan to give up the Toledo Strip, but gave them the Upper Peninsula, so the real losers are Wisconsin.
You can't keep getting away with it!
In 2011, in the city of Zanesville, Ohio, the owner of an animal farm had released a lot of exotic animals before game-ending himself. The animals were reported to be kept in awful conditions prior to the escape. Leading up to the escape, the owner had went to prison for federal firearm charges, was in heavy debt, and his wife had left him. 50 of the 56 animals had escaped, and included 18 Bengal tigers, 6 black bears, 2 grizzly bears, 2 wolves, 1 macaque monkey, 1 baboon, 3 mountain lions, and 17 African lions. Sadly, in the end, the police had to put down all the escaped animals. Except the police never actually got all the animals. As for the macaque monkey, its location is currently unknown, but police think that a big cat probably got it. In the 1960s, the Cuyahoga was a river that was very polluted due to over a century of factory waste and sewage being dumped. This all reached a breaking point when famously a bunch of oil-soaked logs caught on fire in the river. This wasn't the first time that the river had burned, but it started an initiative to clean it up and had eventually inspired the first Earth Day in 1970. The Cuyahoga was also eventually made a national park in 1974, and then in 2006, bald eagles finally returned to Cuyahoga County for the first time in 70 years. This is a legend that's exactly what it sounds like. Over the course of 60 years, there have been many reports of a large 4-foot humanoid frog in Loveland, Ohio. The first sighting is reported by a businessman or traveling salesman who was driving along a road late at night when he spotted 3 figures standing on their hind legs along the side of the road. One was also reported to be holding a wand over its head that sprayed sparkles. In 1972, there were 2 separate police reports of a large frog-like creature. The first report was just a run-of-the-mill sighting, but during the second report, the cop had actually shot and recovered the creature. It was then discovered that the mysterious Loveland frog was just a 3.5-foot tailless iguana that someone had probably released into the wild when it got too big. As of today, the Loveland frog is now the city's mascot and is dressed as a frog prince and regularly appears at city events. You can clearly see that Ohio is one of the wackiest places in the United States, and it has been the front for internet jokes for almost 7 years, as it dates back to the Ohio will be eliminated picture in 2018. I eventually want to do a video for every US state, so make sure to comment what state you'd like to see next. Without further ado, I decided to visit Ohio and rank it and see if it really lives up to the stereotypes. Yeah, this one wasn't too hard to judge because I live across from it, but the stories check out on this one.